Welcome students. The chapter name is Phrases. In this presentation, we will learn about phrases, types of phrases, which includes noun phrase, adjective phrase, and adverb phrase. Before getting further in the video, let's examine these groups of words which are on the screen. In the east, on the wall. Does these groups of words make any sense to you? I guess a little. Yes, these sentences make sense, but not the complete sense. Such a group of words which make sense but not the complete sense is called a phrase. Let's begin with definition. In English grammar, a phrase is a group of two or more than two words functioning as a meaningful unit within a sentence or a clause. In everyday speech, a phrase is any group of words often carrying a special idiomatic meaning. In this sense, it is synonymous with expression. So by this, what are phrases? A phrase is a group or pairing of words in English. A phrase can be short or long, but it does not include the subject-verb pairing necessary to make a clause. A phrase does not contain a finite verb. So you all must be wondering what are finite verbs. Basically, in English grammar, a finite verb is a form of a verb that shows agreement with the subject and is marked for tense. Finite verbs are sometimes called main verb. So you all must be very careful to identify that phrases has neither a subject or a predicate. A phrase does not contain a predicate either expressed or understood. Let's see some examples on the screen. First, the sun rises in the east, they sat on the wall. Thus, we can say that phrases become more meaningful when they are a part of a sentence. With that, a phrase is a small group of words that adds meaning to a sentence. A phrase is not a sentence because it is not a complete idea with a subject, verb, and a predicate. Dear students, you all need to understand what a phrase is. Then only you will be able to understand their types. So, a group of words which make sense but not the complete sense is called a phrase. Is that clear to everybody? If yes, let's move further in the video and understand their types. Students, here on the screen you can see there are three types of phrases. First, noun phrase. Second, adjective phrase. Third, adverb phrase. With that, let's begin with noun phrase. Noun phrase. A noun phrase is a group of words which tells you more about a noun. It is a group of two or more words that is headed by a noun. That could be a person, place, or thing. That includes modifiers. Example, the, a, of them, with her, etc. Here, modifiers are modifying the noun. A noun phrase plays the role of a noun. In a noun phrase, the modifiers can be come before or after the noun. Here, in an example, you can see the airy abandoned cottage. Airy and abandoned are two adjectives. They are describing the noun. Which noun? Cottage. Cottage is a noun. It is the name of something. But together, this is a noun phrase because it tells you more about the cottage. Normally, nouns nearly always feature in noun phrases. It is rare to find a noun functioning by itself, that is, without any modifiers in a sentence. In real life, it is far more common for nouns to feature in noun phrases, that is, to be accompanied by the modifiers. So, a noun with any sort of modifier, even if it's just a or the, is a noun phrase. Here are some examples of noun phrase. There are two sentences which have the same meaning. But how to identify the noun phrase? In the first one, Sheetal loves painting. Is it a noun phrase? No. Sheetal loves to paint pictures. Correct. This sentence tells you what a noun phrase. The meaning of both the sentences are same. Don't get confused with that. But the second sentence contains a noun phrase with the modifier in it. Further examples of noun phrases. First, we enjoy reading novels. Second, they want to go home. Third, he enjoys playing football. In these three examples, you need to find out what a noun phrase is. I guess it is easier for you now to understand what a noun phrase is, and you must be able to find out here what a noun phrase is. Most people know what an adjective is, but when it comes to describing an adjective phrase, it's easy to get confused. An adjective phrase is more than a group of words with an adjective in it. It's actually a group of words that describe a noun or pronoun in a sentence, thus functioning as an adjective. Some adjective phrases modify nouns, noun phrases, predicate of the sentence, and it also modifies the objects. Here on the screen you can see the difference between adjective and what does the adjective phrase mean. What do you mean by adjective? A word that describes a noun. And what does adjective phrase? A phrase which has two or more than two words that describes the noun. Here are another examples of adjective and adjective phrase. The angry bear attacked me. The bear is way too scary. From these examples, how to identify an adjective phrase? The best way to identify is to look at the first word within the group of words. Yes, I'm talking about an example which is given in the table of adjective phrase. Right? To look within the group of words, if the first word is an adverb or a preposition, there is a good chance that you are looking at an adjective phrase. Ask yourself, what is this phrase modifying? Is it describing a noun? If it is in fact modifying the noun or subject of a sentence, then you are looking at an adjective phrase. So here, way is the word which is an adverb. Here you can see how these adjectives turns into adjective phrases. When we talk about a purple shirt, it is only an adjective. It cannot be categorized under adjective phrases. When we are talking about adjective phrases, a purple shirt will become a shirt of purple color. So see the difference and then only categorize these both type of sentences into two different categories, that is adjectives or adjective phrases. Another one, a smiling face. Adjective phrase for this, a face with a smile on it. Another, a kind woman, a woman with a kindly nature. The Indian flag, the flag of India. Now, with that, let's see the difference between a noun phrase and an adjective phrase. Let's look into the definition. A noun phrase is a phrase that acts as a noun. And an adjective phrase is a phrase that acts as an adjective. What are the functions? How it functions basically? Noun phrase functions as an object, subject or a complement in a sentence. What does adjective phrase does? It basically modifies a noun. What are the main components which you needed to understand? First, in noun phrase, noun is the main component. In adjective phrase, adjective is the main component. Location in a sentence. Where do you going to find out the noun phrase in a sentence or adjective phrase in a sentence? Noun phrase can occur anywhere in the sentence, but adjective phrase can occur before or after a noun. Let's begin with adverb phrases. Simply, an adverb phrases contains two words, adverb and phrases. An adverb phrases is a group of words that functions as an adverb. Let's know more about adverb phrases. Definition of an adverb phrase. Adverb phrase is a group of words that does the work as an adverb. An adverb phrase is simply a group of two or more words that functions as an adverb in a sentence. Just as an adverb can modify a verb, adjective or another adverb, an adverb phrase of more than one word can further describe a verb, adverb or adjective. Basically, adverb phrases answer the questions how, where, why, or when something was done, as you can see in some of the examples. The adverb phrase has as its head an adverb, which may be preceded by pre-modifier and followed by post-modifier. Adverb phrases can be used in any position in a sentence. Note that if any prepositional phrases that uses the preposition like, under, so that in that case the preposition phrase functions as an adverb in a sentence. Since it modifies the verb to describe the location, so it can be both categorized in prepositional phrase and an adverb phrase. Here in the slide, you can see 5 sort of examples of adverb phrase which tells you where, when, why, how and to what extent. Example number 1. Baseball has become very popular in our town. In our town is showing and describing where it has been done. So it will be categorized under adverb phrase. Similarly, in example number 2, the flowers will bloom in spring. With that, in spring, it is showing when the flower will going to bloom. It will act as a adverb phrase. Example number 3. Helen did not go to school on account of the bad weather. So here we are talking about why, the reason, on account of the bad weather. That is why Helen didn't go to the school. Example number 4. My brother spoke in a condescending manner. In here, we are talking about how, in which manner it has been doing. So adverb phrase is in a condescending manner. Example number 5. For many years, she has been waiting for this opportunity. Here, we are talking about to what extent that she has been waiting for some opportunity. Here are some sorts of examples which you can see on the screen. Let me give you more examples of where, when, why, how, or to what extent. For where, here are some of the examples which can describe as an adverb phrase: around the sun, near the edge, over the rainbow. For when, as quickly as possible, any time, after a few minutes. For why, to understand better, to make the most of it, to end discrimination. For how, very carefully, quite easily, in total silence. With that, all the phrases has been covered till now. Dear students, now the most important task for you is to understand all the phrases which is shown in the video. Dear students, here on the screen, one exercise in which you have to identify the phrases and you have to categorize all these sentences into an adjective phrase, adverb phrase, or a noun phrase. Identify it and do it in your copy. Exercise number 2. Underline the phrases used in the following sentences. You need to underline the phrases in these 10 sentences and do it in your copy. Thank you and have a nice day.